Experienced bow hunter recalls being scared by an unknown scream, howl near Austin. Year 1992. SEASON. Fall month, October. Date, 20. State, Indiana. County, Scott County. Location details. Take I-65 to Austin and go west on 256. Turn left on Boatman Road. Turn right on York Street. Follow the road till it turns into gravel and then dead ends at the river in the middle of a field. It is the deep in the woods on the right. Nearest town, Austin. Nearest road, Boatman Road, I-65. Observed. It was bow season in October 1992, around 5:30 in the evening. I had just climbed out of my deer stand and heard movement about 20 meters in front of my stand. So I decided to just sit at the base of the tree to see if the deer would come out of the brush, and hopefully get a shot at it. After waiting for about 10 minutes, it got pretty dark in the woods. Too dark to take a shot, so instead of spooking the deer, I decided to wait for it to move out so that I might have another chance at it the next day. It was making a lot of noise, kind of unusual for deer. I must have sat there for another 20 minutes when I heard this loud high-pitched scream, or howl. It lasted for about 3 to 4 seconds and it was very close to my left. Needless to say, it scared the crap out of me. I have never heard anything like that before. I grew up around the woods and I have been hunting for many years, and never heard that sound before or since. I have been in the military for 16 years and spent my share of many different types of wilderness, and this sound that I heard I will never forget. Also noticed, nothing, and I hunted these woods for years. Other witnesses. No other stories. No time and conditions. Between 6 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. Dark in the woods, but you could just see the sky through the treetops. And it was around 55 degrees environment. The area is called the Austin Bottoms, because it is always flooded, 1,000s of acres of woods, a lot of farmland. Many branches of the Muscatac River run through it. Lots of game. Follow-up investigation report by BFRO investigator Eric Lester. I spoke to the witness, an Iraq War veteran, over the phone about what he heard that evening. The scream, howl was so close to him that he jumped up and ran while the howl was still going on, and he didn't stop until he was out of the area and back to the road, about a half-mile away. When he initially started running, the scream, howl ceased. It was described as rising in pitch, extremely loud, and similar to the howls found on the BFRO website. The area is described as being extensive forest interspersed with many swamps. The Muscatac River runs through this area. He hasn't been back to those woods since.
Occurred, the 15th of August 1996, 23 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Austin, IN. USA. Shape, triangle. Duration, 5 minutes. No of observers. 2 characteristics: lights on object, emitted other objects, changed color, aircraft nearby. Possible abduction. Missing time, huge triangle-shaped craft seen with lights coming on and off. Possible lost time. Weird anomaly of not talking about it at the time. Female friend and I were standing on her porch in a very rural area near Austin, IN, between Austin, IN and Crothersville, IN, around 11 p.m. in the fall of 1994. In the fall, we were talking and saying goodbye, and all of a sudden we saw 4 to 5 white lights come up to the southeast. I originally thought these were helicopters since I saw round white lights shining down, and I attempted to make it fit my reference frame, as we have had helicopters looking for pot, etc. in that time. The problem was it was nighttime and there was no way they were really doing that at night. Also, there were no sounds. I'd never seen a helicopter that made no sound. I thought in my head, this must be special military aircraft. I then was trying to look closely and finally the lights went out. Then all of a sudden, lights came on the southeast area and the straight east, shown above the tree line across the road from the house. 5 or more round white lights were shown. I looked closely, again, trying to understand the context of the lights. They began to change color. Purple, green, yellow, white, etc. She and I never spoke. Then, the lights shifted, turned white, and shone up, and I was able to see that this was a huge craft. Triangle shape and very large, length and height. As the lights shined up on the craft, it looked like landscape lighting shining up on a very large building and was above trees at a height over 70 feet, I assumed 500 feet long. As I looked closer, I saw this craft was huge as the lights shone up the sides and showed the huge shape. My frame of reference was the tree line. After a short minute, the craft moved forward, south, and I could see the triangle shape of the monstrous building-sized craft more clearly. Then the lights went out and I could not see the craft anymore. Then small white lights came on and they moved on, about 5 to 10 of these, and move on south. The triangle craft was gone and only the lights left, like they quickly shot out of the craft, then the car. Fort was gone, leaving the lights. Like the craft disappeared or turned into the small lights. The lights then blinked out and then disappeared to the south. I then regained my senses and looked at my friend. She was still fixed on the scene and didn't respond to me. I looked at my watch and looked for any missing time, but didn't at that time detect any. But I did notice that it seemed like I had a bad edit. I heard that in a later discussion, because I really was lost for a minute. My friend and I then went back to talking like nothing happened. We did not mention it. I then drove back to my house a few miles away, and checked my watch again looking for any lost time. I didn't notice any. When I got home, I called her and said, "Did you see that?" She then said to me, "Did you see that, too?" It was so odd that we both ignored it at the time, although it was very profound, but then noticed the importance later. As I heard the description of sightings or abductions as D edits, this fit that description exactly. Although I have had other memories, this is the detail I remember in general. Sorry, it took so long to report. Again, I can't explain why I haven't. I did tell my sister about it the day after it happened and she remembered our conversation.
Occurred, the 14th of August 2015, 22 hours 15 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Austin, IN, USA. Shape, other duration, 2 minutes. No of observers. 2 characteristics. Lights on object, bright orange horizontal band of lights seen by husband and wife. While driving home from work, I noticed a band of approximately 4 bright orange lights in the northeast sky. It appeared as though the lights were stretching apart from each other in a horizontal line. As quickly as they appeared, I lost sight of them. I continued home and kept my eye toward the sky where I had seen the lights, and as I pulled in my driveway, maybe 2 minutes later, at best, I noticed them again. This time there seemed to be more lights, or that the lights were multiplying as they separated. I got my husband's attention to have him look to see them, and he did. The lights maybe lasted a few seconds before disappearing either behind a tree line or altogether from the night sky. This sighting comes after 2 other unexplainable lights I have seen in the same general direction of the sky over the last 2 or 3 weeks. The first was probably 2 weeks ago, appearing as a bright red light in the sky that burned up in just a few seconds. The second was just a few days ago, either Monday, August 10, 2015, or Tuesday, August 11, 2015. It was like a fireball that flashed and was gone. I know that the meteor shower was going on this week, but I watched that and those were nothing like any of the 3 strange sightings I've had.
Occurred, the 17th of February 2003, 11 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Scottsburg, IN, USA. Shape, sphere duration, no of observers. 1. I seen a bright, circle-like object in the air that disappeared as if it was getting higher. I was talking to my daughter while talking on the phone, and I looked up and saw this bright light. I thought it was a satellite, but it was moving too fast to be that. Then, the light began to move, as if it was getting higher into the sky, and then disappeared.
Occurred, the 2nd of July 2014, 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Scottsburg, IN, USA. Shape, triangle duration, 12 o'clock. No of observers. 2 grey, triangle, but upside down, looked like cloud, but had straight edges. It was like an upside-down triangle. But it looked like a cloud, but the edges of it were straight. It was also on the left side of the moon, and then eventually it went above a tree and disappeared. Plus, I've believed in aliens and UFOs most of my life, and I have never seen that in my entire life. Also, I have seen one as a child, 10 years old. I was in the back door needing to feed my Doberman, and I saw a huge, silver, 30-foot-long UFO floating 15 feet above the road by the fence. I freaked out. I ran back inside and nothing else happened after that. I'm 15 years old now. To prove it, I was born on December 22, 1998. I want someone to believe me. Also, my brother saw it, but my mum, dad, and 2 sisters won't believe me. I'm afraid I'll get abducted. I'm one of those people who will totally freak out if I get abducted. Please believe me. Thank you so much.